Research and technology play an ever-growing role when it comes to water use and conservation of the Ogallala Aquifer.
The future of irrigation is high-tech, and it's using remote sensing, it's using satellite imagery, it's using sensors that are mounted on the sprinkler system, and those are the kinds of things that we're working on, with artificial intelligence working in the background to help us narrow our options.
The Ogallala Aquifer is the primary source of fresh water for the Texas High Plains and parts of 7 other states, but more water is being pumped from the aquifer than nature can refill. North Plains Groundwater Conservation District helps farmers see new advances in action. The farm grew out of a 2009 challenge taken on by 3 members of the district's board of directors. They implemented conservation technology and practices on their own farms, then attempted to grow 200 bushels of corn on just 12 inches of irrigation water. Typically, corn irrigation had averaged 21 inches per acre based on previous studies. Unfortunately, a drought in 2011 hampered that challenge.
So while their demonstration period was interrupted with that objective, it still was very beneficial and eye-opening to the board to begin to understand the significance of demonstrations and how you can utilize different approaches and strategies in different areas, different soil types, different crops. And that concept then grew and has continued to grow into the demonstrations that we had here. And I believe that's what's led the board to acquire this area here, the demonstration farm, now called the North Plains Water Conservation Center, where they continue to demonstrate various strategies and equipment that can help producers make informed decisions on the strategies that could work for them and that are most appropriate for different types of crop varieties.
We're the only groundwater district that operates a demonstration farm for the purpose of demonstrating conservation technologies and strategies. There's a really good reason for that, since over 95% of the water that's pumped in our district goes into some sort of agricultural and mostly into irrigation. So that's the reason that we have a farm, a program that's dedicated to finding the best ways to use irrigation water. It was important that it was demonstrations. In other words, not theoretical type research, but something that growers could use this season. If they saw something here that was being demonstrated that they felt could help them, here it can be tested and demonstrated on a commercial scale, regular sized fields, not little plots. So we feel like it adds something to the research that goes on that's also critically important, that's done by some of our partners, Texas A&M AgriLife and other partners. It gives growers something they can apply today.
Soil moisture probes, for example, have been used in North Plains demonstrations for many years.
Soil probes were a really critical part of the initial demonstrations that really started around 2009, 2010 with the board taking a more active role in the demonstration farm. And really they address one of the basic problems with underground water, and that is, as it's been called, mysterious and occult. You can't see it, don't know what's happening underground, and so that's where the probes give us a look into what's actually happening, at least in the critical part of the soil from the surface to 6 feet, in some cases down, where that water is being stored and used for agricultural production. The probe is critical to that particular aspect of water management. It allows them to figuratively anyway, see what's going on underground by the information, the data that's being gathered from the soil probe. It can give some important things in terms of plant water use. That's really probably the most important thing. Once calibrated, you can get a pretty good idea also of the amount of water that's there, and then combine those two things, you can see the amount of water that's being used by the plant throughout the season, which is critical to management of the resource, allowing the grower to make on the fly really irrigation decisions about when to turn on the sprinkler and when to turn it off.
They also explore natural methods of conserving water in their research at the demonstration farm. In 2024, the district studied water used by sorghum silage, also called forage sorghum.
There can be silage from any variety of a grain crop, and basically that just means, for most people, they understand, but not everybody, because they're not working a farm. That just means you don't grow it all the way to a grain production and harvest the grain. It's harvesting the whole plant for the vegetation that makes feed for livestock.
Current projects build on the district's 2024 demonstration, which indicated that forage sorghum could play a significant role in optimizing limited water resources.
Our market in this area has shifted significantly to silage production, much of that based on a ready market with the dairies that are ready to take that product immediately at a fair price. And so obviously, just like any other business, much of what happens in agriculture is market driven, has to be, and we want to be, a part of that process as far as assisting those growers in making those adjustments that will make them more efficient and also leave more water in the ground.
Soil moisture probes and satellite imagery are being used to evaluate projects underway now at the Conservation Center. The research is gauging the performance of hybrid, drought-tolerant plants grown with limited water from buried irrigation lines. Subscribe to this YouTube channel as we continue to share stories of farmers and others who are making sure every drop counts. We're all in this together.
At Panhandle PPS, our reliable news reporting and fact-based storytelling has always been free. We're proud to offer our work for free thanks to generous support of viewers like you. If you appreciate our journalism and would like to see it continue, please consider making a donation to Panhandle PBS today.